Logan Paul and KSI are in yet more controversy for Prime Hydration. It seems that we can't go a month without this company falling under some kind of controversy, upsetting the wrong people, and then just figures completely declining. So obviously ever since Prime was born by KSI and Logan Paul, it was branded as this brand new hydration drink that was going to be better for you with coconut water and all the rest of it. But there has been a class action lawsuit that has been filed against Prime Hydration to do with PFAS, and that is explained very well within this interview right here.
As millions of kids and teenagers enjoy their summer break outdoors, many of them are turning toward popular energy drinks to keep them hydrated.
But now lawmakers on Capitol Hill say they're concerned that major corporations may be putting kids in harm's way to earn a profit. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is calling on the Food and Drug Administration to investigate Prime Energy Drink. He alleges the drink, which comes in various kid-friendly flavors, contains potentially dangerous levels of caffeine. Social media influencers Logan Paul and KSI launched the beverage brand last year.
Okay, so, you get the idea. Basically, what happened was there was an insane amount of hype for this drink. People were going absolutely bonkers for it. It was selling out shops, which was then driving the market up, and it was, because it was so in demand, people were so desperate to get their hands on it, they were like, let me at this hydration drink, I want some of this, and nobody could get their hands on it, which then meant that people were, again, fighting over it. There were video clips going viral of people literally, like, brawling in the streets for Prime. It was like black market stuff. It was crazy. And obviously the whole PFA situation came in, and it was it safe was the question. The branding didn't look looked a bit sus. Logan Paul did respond to some of these allegations that were being made online, especially to do with the forever chemicals. You might remember this guy. He made a video about it, and Logan Paul kind of picked him apart.
Not only is there a lawsuit against Logan Paul's company Prime for there being PFOs, which are forever chemicals, in the Prime hydration drink.
All right, let's talk about this. First off, anyone can sue anyone at any time. That does not make the lawsuit true, and in this case, it is not.
There's claims that PFOS or forever chemicals come from plastic. So in this case, they're not talking about the actual drink, the liquid Prime. They're talking about the bottle that Prime is manufactured in.
This ain't a rinky-dink operation. We use the top bottle manufacturers in the United States.
We're going to talk about that bottle manufacturer in just a moment, because they are the subject of this brand new lawsuit and issue against Prime.
All of your favorite beverage brands, Coke, Pepsi, Tropicana, Dr. Pepper, they use these companies. If the product is served in plastic, they make a bottle for them. Accordingly, we follow Title 21 for the Code of Regulations for PET and all other types of bottles. The products are manufactured by our company in a manner compliant with all pertinent current good manufacturing practices by the United States Food and Drug Administration. All of our suppliers use GMP facilities. But let's say they're talking about the drink itself. Here's where their argument really falls apart. Pay attention.
But according to the testing done by one of the lawyers for the plaintiff...
Whoa! Hold it! You saw Goodman or Walter White, brother, because this little study that was conducted by a lawyer is absolute bullshit. They're claiming that Prime has 0.06 ppt, parts per trillion. But that's interesting, because the EPA says that anything under 1.1 ppt cannot be deemed as reasonably accurate, meaning they don't have the right tools or resources to even prove what they're claiming. Are you following this? It means the detection limit is 66 times more than what they're claiming we have in our drink. And that's just the detection limit. Your own state will not even take action unless it's over 40 parts per trillion. So we don't even think this information is factual, but for the sake of this conversation, let's continue.
In one Prime hydration drink, they found 3 times the amount of PFOs that you should consume in drinking water in your life.
So that's obviously where everyone started to get concerned. Parents stopped buying the drink for their kids because they were like, this is getting out of hand, and it's not safe to drink. Logan Paul does comment on that as well.
We have a very big multi-million-dollar filter that filters the water from the state. Water you drink at home, water provided by the state before we make it into Prime. If this claim about PFOs and PFAS is true, what is that saying about your state water? Then, according to their website, the Environmental Protection Agency's recommendation is using one of 3 tactics to remove as many PFOS and PFAS as possible. Activated carbon, ion exchange treatment, and reverse osmosis. Well, we do 2 out of the 3 of those to clean the state's water before it even becomes Prime. We don't think these numbers are factual, and we're not the only one who caught this.
The level that was reportedly found was below the limit of detection, and if that even was the level, it is still 66 times lower than the recently established federal maximum contaminant level of 4 parts per trillion for PFOS.
For customer safety, we retain samples of every single batch of Prime that has ever come off the production line. So if/when this plaintiff wants to come forward with a production number, we will retain samples from that batch and conduct our own independent study. We're putting out better for you products. Meanwhile, our competitors are on the cusp of getting banned in the United States. The #1 sports drink in the world just had SKUs banned in California for using dyes linked to cancer. That is a fact. It already happened. The difference with us is one person conducted a random study and has provided zero evidence to substantiate any of their claims. Do y'all remember a while back when they said that the FDA was investigating Prime? It never happened. They never called us because we follow every single guideline and regulation. So Tommy the TikTok lawyer, 4 videos in, man, farm those views, get those likes, and get a haircut while you're at it. We'll accept an apology within the next 48 hours, otherwise you're going to be representing yourself in a miserable courtroom for lying about our brand.
So there you go. Basically, anyone who's dared to speak against Logan Paul, to dare speak against Prime, was going to be met with the same fate that, Tommy the TikTok lawyer and CoffeeZilla now is facing, which is, I'm just going to send you to court and shut you up because I've got endless resources and you don't. So, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then, obviously, we've now got more allegations, which, came out about 3 weeks ago, which is that Prime is being sued for a trademark case by the US Olympic Committee. And basically what happened here was it claims that Prime is using trademarked Olympic phrases and symbols on the special edition of its hydration drink featuring basketball star and 3-time Olympic gold medalist Kevin Durant. The committee said that it does not have an agreement with Prime for the use of its terminology and trademarks, and it said that its actions have been deliberate and in bad faith. And basically, the Olympic Committee from the US men's and women's team sold those rights and trademarks to Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola paid a lot of money to use those terms and trademarks so that they could, use the branding throughout the Olympics to put on their bottles, and it would promote the Olympics, promote the men's and women's national team, and it would, promote Coca-Cola in the same breath. But Prime Hydration decided to use those trademarks as well, getting themselves into a bit of a trademark infringement issue. So they were getting sued for that as well. And it's just, again, it's another one of those situations where Prime's gone and done something. Maybe it's just, sometimes bad publicity is better than no publicity at all. And we've seen with Prime Hydration, KSI, Logan Paul are going balls to the wall to try and get as many celebrities and sports athletes involved with the roster as they can. Obviously, it is now sponsoring the MMA. There you go. So it's sponsoring the MMA, so you see Prime all over that. It was obviously a big part of all of KSI and Logan Paul's boxing matches. You see it in the WWE with Logan Paul. We now see it with multiple sports stars, Alicia Lehman, Kevin Durant, multiple other people, Erling Haaland. Basically, if there is the best person within that sports category, they will just sign them to promote Prime Hydration. They sponsor Arsenal Football Club, they sponsor Barcelona Football Club, Bayern Munich Football Club, they sponsor NBA teams, they sponsor all sorts. And that's obviously just to try and get promotion and publicise their drink and brand as much as possible. But the brand new lawsuit is probably the worst one of them all. And you're probably thinking, how can it get worse than a class action lawsuit and a lawsuit from the Olympic Committee? Well, Logan Paul and KSI's Prime Hydration was hit with a $68 million lawsuit for breach of contract. Insane. Logan Paul and KSI's Prime Hydration has been sued for $68 million for breach of contract by bottling company bottling company after Prime allegedly backed out of the deal that they had made. According to the lawsuit filed on August 2nd, 2024, a deal between Prime and Refresco Beverages called the company to spend large sums of money to change its production line to create special bottles used by the influencer-led brand. And we can see that these were the types of bottles that they have gone for. Due to the amount of money being invested in the production line, the two companies allegedly agreed on a minimum order commitment. If they didn't hit If they didn't take the agreed upon orders from Refresco, Prime would be required to pay a set amount of money per case. So basically, it's a change of production line. If you look at Coca-Cola, if you look at Tropicana, if you look at Dr. Pepper, all of the Fanta as well, all their bottles are very, very similar. You know, they've got that kind of small on the bottom, tubed at the top. Well, because they were completely changing their production line to fit this brand, and it was going to cost a lot of money, they had to basically be certain that they would buy a certain amount of cases, basically for Refresco, which is the company that made the bottles, to recoup that money. And they didn't. They didn't hit those milestones. They didn't sell the amount that they needed, so Prime would have had to pay a certain amount of money per case, but you know, Prime have basically backed out of that deal. So, quote, if defendants did not purchase the take delivery of at least 90% of the agreed annual volume commitment for each of the 3 contract years, defendants would be obligated to pay Refresco a fixed shortfall amount for the 12 bottle cases. For each 12 bottle case. Below the volume commitment, the defendants did not purchase, it reads. According to the lawsuits by Bloomberg Law, as Refresco was getting ready to do a test run of the popular drink, Prime backed out of the agreement altogether. Refresco is seeking $67.71 million in damages due to Prime allegedly backing out of the contract. They're asking for interest as well, making the total request over $68 million. This lawsuit against Prime is part of a growing list of legal issues facing the influencer-led drink company. Back in 2023, a woman filed a lawsuit against Prime claiming its grape-flavoured hydration drink included forever chemicals that are thought to cause cancer and various other health issues. In May of 2024, a class action lawsuit was filed against Prime for false advertising on its energy can drinks and filing that the plaintiffs claimed that the drink had more than 200 milligrams of caffeine. After signing Kevin Durant as sponsored athlete, Prime launched a special edition bottle with the NBA star's branding. Due to the inclusion of Durant's Olympic accolades on the back of the bottle, the US Olympic Committee filed a trademark infringement lawsuit against Prime just days later. So this is just one of many lawsuits that Prime has faced. Now, Logan Paul and KSI obviously get the brunt of the hate online because obviously they are the ones promoting it. But Logan Paul and KSI collectively own about 33% of the company. So yes, they're doing all of the promotion. Yes, they're doing all of the, you know, like, look at this, buy this. They're all over the advertisement. They're everywhere. It's in their YouTube videos. It's in their, you know, whatever. Whatever they do, Prime is sure to follow. But they're not the majority shareholders within the company. And that's just because they are just the face of the brand. Really, you know, behind the scenes people are probably getting the majority of the money because, well, they're doing all the work and the heavy lifting. Whereas KSI and Logan Paul can just sit there and say, drink Prime. And they'll just get 33% of all commission made, which is pretty astounding when you think about it. But moving further forwards, you may have noticed Prime Hydration has taken a bit of a hit recently. Obviously, across the course of 2022, 2023, when the brand started, every Tom, Dick, Harry and their cat wanted a Prime drink. It was, you know, it was the thing to have. If you went to school with a bottle of Prime, you know, my partner worked in a high school. If someone had a bottle of Prime, they were the most popular kid on the campus. If someone had Prime, their kids wanted it. It was selling out. People were buying it, selling it on eBay for like £100+. Some, like, people, when it was really bad, if the limited edition bottles came out, would buy it at £2 and then sell it on eBay for upwards of £500, sometimes even £1,000. And people were bidding on eBay for these bottles because they wanted it that bad. And because of the lack of supply, it created more demand, it created more hype, it created so much more. And now that the hype started to die down, people are able to get their hands on it. There's less enthusiasm about Prime. It doesn't matter how many athletes you bring on. When I think about it, you know, every supermarket in the UK had it at one point. Sainsbury's, Asda, Tesco, Aldi, Lidl, you know, all of these places had Prime. Now, when I walk down the aisles of the drinks beverages, I only ever really see it in Asda. I've never seen it in Tesco since. I haven't seen it in Sainsbury's since. Iceland, I haven't seen it anywhere. My local Tesco actually had it on sale recently because they just couldn't shift the stuff. So they put it down to something ridiculous like 50 pence a bottle, which, when you think about it, it's quite the hit. And it goes to show that the hype's not really there for it anymore. So I did a bit of research on this. So the slump is almost entirely attributable to the collapse in Prime Hydration's line. Sales which have crashed £15.2 million on volumes down 41.1%. The brand's newer energy line, launched last spring, climbed 352% and brought the sales of £1.6 million last quarter. So the energy is doing well. But it's taken a huge slump of £15.2 million in the first quarter, which is absolutely insane. And, the brand sales have slumped by more than 50% since the turn of the year. So it goes to show that Prime, KSI, Logan Paul, they are pumping the stuff. But the hype just isn't really there for the drink anymore. It's become, the amount that it grew, it was unsurmountable. So of course that spike was never going to, continue. It was always going to plateau at some point. It seems to be in quite a steady fall, or quite a steep fall, sorry. Whether it continues to take a steep fall, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, all of these lawsuits don't look good for business. But at the same time, they're still trying to... They've locked themselves within the sports drink market. Now, they're just competing to try and be the top on the market. But what do you guys think of this? Obviously, it's just controversy after controversy. Logan Paul and his Prime Hydration. Everyone kind of points at Logan Paul, and I think it's just because he's the one that's easy to point out. KSI's got quite a squeaky clean image to a degree. Logan Paul less so. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump to get the hell out of that like button if you have gone on to enjoy. Subscribe if you're new and tick on my little bell to get notified whenever I upload to the channel. And until next time, guys, I'll speak to you later. Peace.